be exactly what you want to be without all of the fear around you. We have to stand up together.
Welcome to another episode of The Chairman Project with your humble host, Jason Sisneros. I know we've got our live audience right now on X. You can join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. We do the hour of content. Sometimes we have guests, but we're teaching, talking about business. And the last 30 minutes when you're on X, it's kind of like those old school talk show radio programs where everybody gets to add comments, they get to ask questions about whatever's going on in their life. We focus this show around business and freeing ourselves economically and all of those things. But we have fantastic. The show is always great. This always packed with content. I know that our viewership, the sharing, the show is getting traction out there because it is unique in so many ways. We're not selling anything here. Well, I guess I have a couple of commercials, so I can't say we don't sell anything, but we're here delivering value. You know, I just spent years and years and years watching different podcasts and watching different shows, and it just seemed like it was always constantly shoving the fact that you had to buy something down people's throat. This is opposite of that. This is content that I know that our community, anybody thinking about growing a business, anybody that's inside a business attempting to make it more successful, for it to keep the jobs that it is that it has, and it's providing the money that it's making for the owners and for the employees and for the tax base for its local communities, all of the benefits of being part of the SME, small and medium enterprise community. Right? 60% of the GDP. We are not small. We are not insignificant. We are not single operators. We are a group, an organism that keeps independent access to capital and freedom ringing here in the United States and worldwide. It is a group of people that have innovated and worked and risked and done so many great things that we've been able to flip since 1890. We've been able to flip the abject poverty rate from being 90% abject poverty in the world to about 10%, depending on the year that you measure it. That is significant. You are significant. If you have a business, if you're working in a business, if you are watching this show to figure out how to improve your business, those type of things, you are significant. You're a group. You're part of a group, right? That is, and I love to say this, you know, you owning a business, you working in a business, it is a blatant act of rebellion, right? And that's what we are. We're a bunch of rebels here. We are people that will not accept the standard, the standard and the status quo. We are looking to innovate. We're looking to take our game to the next level. We're looking to free our families economically. We're looking to make more money so that we can do more good. My company, Anton J, that does consulting for multiple businesses, that's our tagline. We help good people make more money, get more time so they can do more good. That's my community. That's the passion that I pour into these shows and pouring over information so that I can add value to you week to week. And again, I would love it if you could join our live group on Twitter every Saturday. I would love to hear from you. I'm getting a lot of great content and comments in the DMs and people mailing us and setting appointments on jasonsisneros.com. And the momentum is building. I love that because I don't like, again, I'm a bully fighter, right? Not a bullfighter, but a bully fighter in life. I hate bullies. I can't stand it, mainly from my childhood. Yep. Got daddy issues just like everybody else. You either got daddy issues or mommy issues, or you were raised in a perfect family. And generally speaking, my audience is not full of people that had a perfect life. We've all had challenges, and we use our businesses as a way, sometimes in the beginning, to show the world, to maybe earn the world's love by being successful with a company. And then we realize over the journey that a business is a great opportunity for us to get better as human beings. And then at some point in time, you trip over that line that says, you know what? Joy is most deeply experienced in service of others. And there is no better asset. There is no better tool than a business to fall in love with other people's outcome, right? Both your clients of your product and service, or your employees, your team, your church, your local community, your family. There's no better way to challenge yourself over and over and over again than to have a business of your own. So that's who I talk to. That's my crowd. That's my crew. And we have an awesome time here every single week. This week, the title of the show is called Special Flower Syndrome. And this is something that I came up with a while back, because here's the scenario. Let me set the stage and then we'll kind of get into it. The business is full of dichotomies, and which area are you going to focus on? Okay. This is no different. Special flower syndrome is no different, because there's a dichotomy. The world and our experience tells us that we have to have a unique business, right? That we have to be special, that we have to set ourselves out. And I'm going to talk about the difference between that, which is a good thing, and that'll lead to 3 questions that I believe are costing business owners their businesses and keeping them from being part of the 5%. Right? The focus of this show is for us to understand that 95% of companies within a decade have gone out of business, right? 95%. So what I have done in my own career is study the 5%. I want to study the 5% because success leaves clues. Failure leaves clues as well. If 95% of companies, since they've been measuring this metric, right? 95% of companies fail over the course of 10 years. 50% are out in one year. And so I don't want to study those. I want to study maybe what not to do, which was the beginning of my career when I crashed 3 companies of my own back to back to back. I was part of the 95% because I was following what the gurus of the time were saying. I was doing what I saw other people doing. I was following bad advice and following and modeling bad behavior in my business, right? Not bad, just poor decision making. So then I was like, when I made my comeback, I was like, I'm going to study, not just study, but I'm going to perfect, and then I'm going to anchor in. I'm going to learn. I'm going to be able to sequence exactly what the 5% in business, the ones that succeed beyond 10 years. I've got some examples. I was going back through some of the oldest companies in the world and what they've gone through, and I'm going to give you some examples of that coming up. But I wanted to study the 5%. And there's a magic number that we're going to talk about over the next 3 or 4 weeks that I want you to understand. I've written a new book called Built to Exit. You can go to builttoexit.biz and you can get these show notes. Every single week I put a tremendous amount of research and work into providing a great show. Those notes and the podcast, if you want to see my face. On Twitter, we're just audio right now. And if you might be finding us on Spotify and different places where it's audio only. But if you want to get the show notes and you want to get the edited professional podcast when it comes out a couple days later, then go to builttoexit.biz, builttoexit.biz, and you will get and put your email address in and you'll get the show notes. Okay. We're also rolling out a lot of new things all the time. I'm speaking, looks like I'm going to be in Cancun next week. I've got Costa Rica coming up, and I'm at business conferences where we can meet and talk and hug and high five and maybe have a tequila here or there. Maybe go do some karaoke if we're really lucky. That tends to be a thing for my community. We end up doing some karaoke, but at the end of the day, there's 3 numbers. Write this down. Those of you that are in the live audience, those of you that have been watching this on replay, those of you that got this shared to you for the first time, welcome to our community. Thank you for being here. I am deeply hopeful that you will find a lot of value in the conversations that we have. But there's 3 numbers, 5, 5, 10. Okay, 3 numbers, 5, 5, 10. You want to be and build an organization and a company that is one of the 5%. That's the first 5. Your target should be to build an EBITDA in your business of 5 million. If you don't know what EBITDA means, study it, research it. This is what this is about, learning new things, okay? Your time and attention can be on what 95% of companies out there that are going to fail are doing and listening and watching and going to those conferences and all that kind of stuff. Or you can be here where we talk about the 5%. You want to be part of the 5% that succeeds beyond a decade. Okay. Long-term growth, something that you can build into an asset to be sold, right? Built to exit means 3 types of exits. You may love what you do. I run into a lot of business owners that say this. I love what I do, Jason. I don't really want to exit. Okay. The first exit is to go from obligated to optional. You may love it. You could do it for the rest of your life and then pass it on to your children or charity or whatever it is that you want to do. But that first exit is not being obligated, not having to be there, not being part of the 95% that has to reset your gauges every 30 days. Think about how exhausting that is. I had a great month, but guess what? It's the first of the next month and I have to reset my gauges all over again because I haven't built systems and processes that turn into assets that build this company that I'm building into something that has a valuation and an EBITDA and a value at the bottom line of $5 million. That should be your first target. Right? We've talked a lot about having an end game that you're not really in the game unless you have scheduled and planned for your end game. And so I've gotten a lot of questions. Jason, what should my end game be? We talk about what is your home, your ideal home? What does it cost? So you know that number. What a couple of cars that you can get around in. What is that number? You may want to send your kids to college. What is that number? You may want to have some invested so that it's spinning off a consistent amount of cash. Your business then becomes a machine that creates a return on investment every single year. Eventually, you're going to get to a number, right? You're going to get to a number that is your first level of exit, going from obligated to optional. Second exit is total time control. You leave your business. You can go start another company. You can start a charity. You can go sail the 7 seas with your significant other or by yourself. It's up to you. Total time control. That's the next level. The third level is that you've built an asset to such into a machine that creates cash so that it can be sold. That's an asset. Okay. Less than 7% of all companies sell that are put on the market. So you want to build something along the way. By the way, all 3 of those exits are built around the principle that you want to constantly and always be ready to be sold, right? And it doesn't matter what your product and or service is. If you build enough value, if you build enough customer base, if you build enough systems, if you have enough employees, if you have enough of the things in line, then you are building an asset. And it doesn't matter what the product or service is, okay? Those are the 3 types of exits, which is why I wanted to write the book. Nobody's talking about this stuff. Everybody talks about selling your business. You hear all of the gurus. You could go to Facebook or Instagram or any of those places and you can see gurus who don't know an effing thing about what they're talking about, talk about, oh, you can acquire businesses and flip them. Yeah, okay. Let's be real for a second. If 95% of companies are failing, what is your odds? What are the odds that you, never having owned a business, or maybe you've owned one, being able to take something from somebody else, figure out their mess, flip it, and then sell it to somebody else? It's less than 7%. So what they're doing is they're selling you a pie in the sky idea that's never going to come to fruition, and you're going to drop $20, $50, $100, $250,000 on the concept that is bullshit. And we want to eliminate bullshit from our conversation. We want to eliminate bullshit from our ideas. What we want to do is deal with cold, hard facts so that we can be successful. And so that 5-5-10 gives you an actual target. There is a magic combination. If you're part of the 5%, you've built an organization to be part of that 5%, you can build a company to a $5 million EBITDA and have $10 million in top line revenue. There is some magic things that happen that we're going to talk about over the coming weeks. But I want to get back to this week's subject, Special flower syndrome. This is something I came up with. It's unique to me. There's a lot of things that I teach that other people have taught. The magic of what I teach, the magic of Anton J, the magic of growthcourse.com that you learn is proper sequencing of great ideas throughout history of business owners that have been part of the 5%. That's who we want to study. That's who we want to listen to. And so I didn't come up with, let's say 80% of the content and the things that I talk about, 80% of the stuff is not mine. 20% is my innovation. It's the sequencing. It was having to develop it just like you for my own end game, for my own independent access to capital, for my own ability for me to be able to exit in such a way that myself and hopefully my next 2 generations don't have to work anymore. Total and complete freedom, economically speaking. Okay. That should be our goal, right? Everybody that has a regular job, what they're looking for is they're working towards retirement. Well, as a business owner, you get to pick the day that you retire only if you set that target. Hi, my name is Jason Sisneros, founder and chairman of Anton J Global, a world-class business consulting company that has helped hundreds of clients and thousands of Growth Course students fix, scale, and successfully master their businesses. To put it simply, my team and I help people turn their businesses into machines that create cash. To better support startups and other mid-sized companies, my team and I developed a phenomenal and comprehensive digital growth course where I poured decades of business ownership and know-how into 20 hours of content. This course is not easy. It's not an easy pill, but demands real work from you to implement the blueprints that I've developed. We know that reaching financial freedom is never easy, but totally worth it. Go to growthcourse.com right now to learn more about the course and get started on your business journey today. All right. So one of the things that holds people back, right? One of the things that holds people back that we're going to talk about today is this idea of special flower syndrome. And it's 2 things, right? Being unique in your value proposition and the value you add to your clients and employees, you should be unique in that area, part of the 5%. Where you shouldn't be is the special flower syndrome that we always run into. Well, Jason, because remember, I've built multiple companies. I had a multiple company exit back in 2019. And I've had a consulting company for well over a decade now with a team of amazing people that we've turned around. We've done mergers. We've people that are stagnant. We've done all kinds of different business things. And a lot of times, here's what I run into: the special flower syndrome. Jason, you might have turned around businesses in 72 other verticals. You might have done it in 50 states. You might have done it in a few other countries. But you don't know my business. you don't, Jason, we're unique, right? We have special because of the regulatory environment, because of where we are in the country, because of the employees in my particular industry, because of this challenge or that challenge. And when you define your business challenge as unsolvable, it remains so, okay? I gave that quote, I don't know, probably 9 years ago. And to this day, I have to say it in almost every single conversation that I have when we go in to do consulting for a company, right? I want you to write that down in whatever fashion you can. Maybe somebody can put it in the comments, okay? If you define your problem as unsolvable, it will remain unsolvable. And it's the same thing when you define the problems that you're having in your company as unique, you almost goes to zero your opportunity to be able to solve those issues. And I promise you, listen to me. Let me make a promise to you. Your problem, your challenge is not unique. You just don't know the answer yet. You just don't know the solution yet. You haven't gotten the piece of information that you need to be able to solve that issue. But you get stuck in this thing like day after day because I'm doing the same things but expecting different results. The literal definition of insanity. Anytime I was watching where I came up with this concept, there was this scene in Bambi. If you've seen Bambi, put yes, I saw Bambi or I watched Bambi at some point in my life, right? It might not have been since you were 6 years old or whatever it is, but Bambi, there's this scene where young Bambi and Thumper, they're kind of going through the forest, and Thumper's explaining, that's a butterfly and that's a tree. And, they get to this patch of flowers and he starts to smell and he goes, these are flowers. And Bambi sticks his nose into the flowers and up comes this skunk, right? And he goes, flower. And this is what when I caught this concept, this is what I thought of. I was like, everybody that tells me that they have a unique issue or a unique problem smells like crap. Like it smells like a skunk. And if you've ever been sprayed by a skunk or smelled it on your animals or whatever it is, you know how bad that special flower smells. And so he comes up, he goes, oh yeah, flower. And even the skunk is like, yeah, you could call me a flower. Nobody's ever called me a flower before. So you could go ahead and call me a flower. And so I thought it was so hilarious. And then there's even a couple of more scenes with flower where the skunk is hibernating. And I thought to myself, that's what special flowers do. They hibernate from intellectual stimulation. They hibernate from even having the concept that maybe my problem or my challenge isn't unique, because it needs to be, or else we start to think of ourselves, look, let me give you an escape route here, is that if we can't figure it out, we don't want to think of ourselves as dumb. We don't want to think of ourselves as ignorant. We want to think the best of ourselves, because as a business owner, certainty is what everybody in the world, your customers, your employees, your wife, your husband, your kids, your church, your community, they're all looking to you for certainty. But if we let that permeate us and become ignorance and ego, it starts to damage your ability to be free. Okay? So I saw that thing, and then there's another scene, the last one in this Bambi show, that I thought was hilarious. At the end, Bambi's grown up and Thumper's grown up and Flower's grown up, and they're walking through the forest, and all of a sudden Flower meets a girl, and he runs off into the flower patches with another female skunk. And I thought, man, that's another good example, right? And Thumper, he goes, he's Twitter-pated. And I said, I was laughing so hard at this. Emily goes, what are you laughing at? And I said, I'm watching this scene in Bambi, and he goes, Twitter-pated. She goes, what does Twitter-pated mean? And I said, babe, you remember the first time we met? I was Twitter-pated. It's an energy. So we as business owners, until we understand that we're building assets, that we're building blocks, and we are building to be part of the 5%, we're looking for our outcome to be a $5 million EBITDA in our company to build it to $10 million revenue, which is not hard, by the way. I don't care what your product or service, it's not hard to do, right? It is when you don't know the proper building blocks. So, but anyway, so I was thinking about that. They sleep, right? They hibernate. They don't realize that they have taken a stinking thinking approach, that they are a special flower, that their business is a special flower, that the problems that they're having is a special flower, and then they get distracted, and a female for a male skunk is a distraction sometimes, right? not in the instance of when you're married. But it's just representative, a great analogy of distraction. Could be alcohol, could be women, could be men, could be food, could be anything that distracts us from understanding that we are building a machine that creates cash, that we are building an asset that should have a $5 million EBITDA as soon as we can get it there, and $10 million in top line revenue. There's magic things. I'm going to talk about why that specific combination is super important. I'm going to talk about that over the next couple of weeks, because when you understand it, that becomes your target. Instead of getting a bigger house, trying to impress people that don't like you, instead of getting a bigger car, instead of wasting your time scrolling through social media, instead of wasting your time, the time that you allocate each and every day for your business is targeted towards those three numbers. I'm going to be part of the 5%, not the 95%. I'm going to build my company to have a $5 million EBITDA. And just researching that, just knowing that that's your target, you're going to work on that. And then building your business to where it can produce $10 million top line revenue. It puts you in a stratosphere that will set you and your family and your future generations free. If you want to play a game, you're going to want to play it to win, right? We did this thing with Tony Robbins. He has this business mastery thing, and they put everybody again, in competition against each other out of 5, 6, 7, 10,000 people or however many are there. And I played it one year, right? I played it with a team of mine, and I'm trying to see if anybody that was on my team is in the room. I don't think so, but anyway, there's let me see. I'm trying to move around in my studio so that you can see the trophy. It's right above my microphone. That's my trophy where me and my team won Business Mastery. It was in London, and it was a hyper consolidated 5-day competition. And I said, okay, I'm going to play this game, and I'm going to use all of my strategies, all of my techniques, and I'm going to compete against top business owners around the world in a consolidated area. And when I got my team together, I said, number one outcome, right? Number one outcome is for us to win. Some of you haven't even had that outcome in mind. Some of you don't even know what winning looks like to you. That's why I say end game, end game, end game, end game, end game, end game, end game. You need to know it, because what does winning look like to you? And then you can reverse engineer and go, what is it, my product and or service? I may need to add another product. I may need to add another service. I definitely need to add employees. I definitely need to up my game in marketing. I need to blah, 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 to be able to get to be 5%, the top 5% of people who don't fail, to get a $5 million EBITDA and $10 million top line revenue. Okay. That should be your target. And you're going to learn some stuff. Like I'm just telling you, I feel like a magician that has the trick, and I'm going to teach you exactly what happens to set you free for the rest of your life once you reach that combination. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about this special flower syndrome that people have. Here's some of the things that people, and when I tell you this, remember the research that I did, these are the things that people who have special flower syndrome, it is keeping you from reaching your objectives. It is keeping you from reaching your freedom. It is keeping you from building a business that is exitable. Most of your businesses aren't exitable. It goes to show you, right? 95% die. And if it does get put up for sale, only less than 7% ever sell. Those are terrible numbers. So be the opposite of that. All right. So here's what we hear. Oh, Jason, you don't understand. I'm having a hard time getting access to capital. Top 3 reasons a business fails: don't have enough money, right? Don't have enough operating capital. Number 2, they have no management skills whatsoever. And 3, they take a product and or service to market that nobody needs or wants. Those are the top 3 reasons. So access to capital, therefore, is a challenge for everybody. There's nothing special flowery about it. Nothing, not a thing, because everybody's experiencing it. Number 2, cash flow management, the money that I am making. Am I putting it in the right places? Am I investing it into a car, right? Am I trying to spend too much? Am I scooping too much off the table? Am I not reinvesting it at the right place? Again, this is everybody. That's not a special flowery challenge. Okay. Competition. Jason, you don't understand. You don't understand my competition. There's 44 of people within a block of me, and we're all doing the same thing. There's 7 million people doing what I'm doing on the internet. You don't understand. Okay, it's not unique, and you're not a special flower. If that's your excuse, that's everybody. Okay, regulatory compliance. Jason, you don't understand my industry. We have the SEC, or we have the cannabis compliance people, or we have this because we're a trading desk, of doing stocks, and we're trading oil. You don't understand the regulatory compliance that makes it nearly impossible for anybody to succeed in my industry. Guess what? That's everybody. It's not special flowery. Okay. Market access, gaining new access to new markets. whether that's local, regional, you're going digital with your business, it's local, right? That's everybody. Talent acquisition and retention. How many people hear that? Jason, you just don't understand, right? In my industry, it's hard to hire people to do HVAC. You don't understand that, there's just nobody that's trained anymore to do what I do. Oh, how do I bring somebody in because I'm a coach, right? How do I hire people to have a coach? I'm just one single coach and I have to sell, fill up my hours throughout the week. Whatever your industry, just use whatever industry you happen to find yourself in. Talent acquisition and retention. A business without talent or an employee does on average of about $80,000 a year. If you're doing more than that, good for you, right? But it's not going to be much. Now, the company that has employees on average is $360,000 top line revenue per employee. So talent acquisition and retention, it's a problem and a challenge for everybody. It's not special flowery. Okay. Well, Jason, you don't understand. Like my industry, it's weird. We have some technological issues. Like we have technology that needs to be here and needs to be there, and having people that can program it and tie everything together. You don't understand my technological adoption issues. Really? Again, raise your hand in the live audience if you have technological issues where you're trying to figure out how to use AI and how to use a CRM and how to tie together QuickBooks online with it, like all that other kind of stuff. It's not unique. You're not a special flower. Okay. Supply chain vulnerabilities. Jason, you don't understand. I've got to have China that sends a shipping container that ends up in the port of LA. And then I have to get that on a truck and I've got to get that to the middle of Ohio, right? Oh, okay. So you have some stuff that you got to get from one place to another. Again, not special flowery. There's nothing unique about that. Let's see, whatever. Oh, customer acquisition and retention. Jason, you don't understand. You don't understand to get a customer it's so loud out there. And there's people that are buying stuff on the internet and they're buying stuff from China and they're buying stuff from, use my industry for a second, right? I'm not the greatest marketer in the world. And when it compares to a lot of people out there that are acquiring people that are doing business coaching and business consulting and that kind of thing, they're crushing it in customer acquisition, right? They're crushing it. But they suck at the delivery, the operations, the actually helping somebody move from the 95% over to the 5%. Nobody's talking about $5 million, why $5 million EBITDA and $10 million top line is important. They're not talking about the fact that they have a huge opportunity or a huge possibility of being part of the 95%. Nobody's talking about that because they just want your money. They're not worried with your outcome like we are here on this show. Like those of you that have gone through growthcourse.com, lots of graduates, lots of people that have participated in that program that are here still after years of me doing this show. It's because you get value week to week, because I don't talk about bullshit, because I don't make stuff up, because I'm not some marketing guru who's going to pump sunshine and rainbows up your butt and tell you that you're going to be successful if you just believe enough. If I just sprinkle, some sort of twinkly dust all over you, you're just going to be magical. You're going to go from $100,000 to 10 billion, right? These bullshit ads that we see all over social media, right? So customer acquisition and retention, guess what? That is an everybody issue. It's an everybody. It's not special flower. Okay. Adapting to change. And this is a big one. Okay, this is the number 10, adapting to change. Well, Jason, we've been doing what we're doing for years, for like 5-10 years. You don't understand. This is just the way it's done. Okay, well, then keep doing it that way, because again, there's only two trajectories in business. Down, you're going out of business, you're on your way to being out of business, or up. You're getting better day by day. You're executing on building assets. You are improving those assets over time. You're building valuation of your business. You're delighting your customers each and every day in more and more way. You're getting feedback from those customers, right? You have employees now that you're getting them to have employee delight. You're tweaking. It's either down or up. There's two trajectories in business: down or up. And if you're down, you're on your way out. Period. End of sentence. Okay. So those are the ways, and I'll just review them for you just very quickly. You're not special flower if you're having challenges in access to capital, cash flow management, competition, regulatory compliance, market access, talent acquisition and retention, technological adoption, supply chain vulnerabilities, customer acquisition and retention, or adapting to change. Not special flower. And I want to pause because here's what happens. Somebody, and I've been watching this happen, especially over the last 5 episodes. You all know somebody who needs Jason Sisneros in their life, right? You all know a business that needs Anton J or the growth course or whatever it is. You all know somebody that needs this information in their life. And then you send this out. And you know me because you've been part of my community. You've listened to my shows. You understand my personality. And you send it to somebody and they go, well, that guy's kind of a snarky asshole sometimes. And I want to say to you that because I know this is going to be one that somebody new is going to watch, I want you to understand I do all of this from love. I was able to free myself. I was a poor kid, grew up in a poor family, had a criminal for an adopted father, started my own business, crashed my business, started another one, crashed that one, third one, crashed that one, fell into a deep depression, got a divorce, had to move out of the house with my kids each and every morning, and basically destroyed myself psychologically because I didn't know this stuff. And I want to pause because I'm used to talking to my community, right? The Chairman Project podcast community. Some people here call themselves Misfit Nation. Those guys. I want to pause and just say, I love you. I love the people that are here every single week. I want you to be successful. We're playing a bigger game than you watching this video. You're part of 60% of the GDP in one of the greatest countries that's ever been created in the history of mankind that actually gives opportunity through business to have independent access to capital. And we live in a day and age where people want to take that away. There's always in every generation people that want to take more control, right? And they want to take more wealth and control it, to control people, right? We live in a country that has the greatest anti-consolidation document in mankind, which is called the Constitution of the United States. And not enough people are talking about the fact that you that are having special flower syndrome, if you can figure out how to get over that and create a successful business, you're going to help keep me free. You're going to help keep our community free. And we're going to start doing business with each other instead of corrupt multinationals who consolidate their wealth and power with a corrupt centralized government. We're the freedom fighters, right? We're the freedom fighters. You owning a business, I say it over and over and over again, is a blatant act of rebellion against being an indentured servant or having to beg for your meal. Yet, please, sir, can I have another? It keeps us free. So thank you for listening. And I'm going to keep going, but I just have to pause every once in a while to remind everybody that I love you. I'm doing these shows out of passion. I'm doing these shows out of care, a deep care that you can learn the stuff that I learned so that you can be in a financial position like I am and other people that have become chairman or chairwoman or chairperson of their own lives. This is the key. These conversations are those answers. All right. Are you a business owner that's looking to build your company into a machine that creates cash? I'm Jason Sisneros, chairman and founder of Anton J Global, a world-class business consulting company that has turned around, merged, or prepped for sale hundreds of companies just like yours. I'm best known as the architect when it comes to fixing and building companies across the globe. My experience comes from owning and exiting over 20 of my own companies successfully. It's that real world experience that I've converted into the ultimate blueprint that has saved and grown my clients' businesses. If you're tired of getting bad advice, have bought all the books, all the coaching programs, and still aren't seeing the success that you were promised, it might be time to work with a team that has actual experience and a track record of success. Please scan the QR code or visit antonj.com to schedule your free 15-minute consultation to see if we can help you reach your outcomes. That's antonj.com, ANTONJAE.com. So let's go through what are some solutions, right? What are some solutions? If we're going to talk about the fact that that's not special flower stuff, and you go, Jason, if it's not special flower stuff, what is the antidote, right? What is the antidote? And I'm just going to give you a quick bunch of them. And then we're going to get into 3 questions that I think keep you broke and the antidote to them as well. But let me just go through these quickly. Okay. The antidote is having a strong value prop. Okay. Value proposition. And that is, again, those of you that have been through the growth course, we go through an entire 2 or 3 segments on getting your value proposition right. That value proposition, now here's where the dichotomy kicks in. Here's where the dichotomy kicks in. I say you're not a special flower, but here's how you set yourself apart. There is a lot of value. In fact, the valuation, getting to a $5 million EBITDA and $10 million top line revenue, there's a lot of value in being unique in the marketplace. What do I mean by being unique? Not special flower, by being part of the 5%. By being part of the 5%, that makes you unique because you're doing the things that the 5% do. You're building assets. You're building, again, some of these words that I use like an asset, it simply means that it has technology, people, measurement, and technology, people, process, and measurement embedded into something that's written down that creates a predictable outcome without your influence. That's an asset. And there's 4 that are core for you to be able to get the wolves away from the door. There's 14 that optimize your cash flow. And there's a grand total of 40 when you put them all together that will drive your valuation to $5 million and higher so that you can step into the next genre, to be able to exit your business, to be able to set it up for multi-generation of success. Okay. So strong value proposition, we teach that in the growth course. And if you go to growthcourse.com/freedom, we give you a $2,000 discount for watching this show and going there. Adaptability and flexibility. You got to build that into your systems and processes. Financial management, understanding that your business speaks through the language of finance. Customer focus, strategic planning, innovation, niche market leadership. Effective and niche market leadership is something that I'm going to actually do an entire show on. I think 3 shows from now, so that you understand you can't be everything to everybody. And once you niche that down, you actually make more money and you become successful for a longer tail success. Effective leadership and management. Learning, again, remember, what are the 3 reasons why, if those 95%, they've done the research on the 95%, why do they fail? They fail for 3 reasons. Number 1, there's not enough cash flow. Number 2, there's no management skills involved. And 3, you took a product and or service to the world that nobody else wants or needs, right? And so if you learn anything, and that is probably the greatest value of the growth course that I've gotten back, is number 1, clarity. Number 2, you learn about management. You learn about leadership. You learn about how to actually build assets in your own business. Invaluable, right? No matter what the price. Robust networking and relationships. This is key. I know that technology is being built these days to push people away from you. You want to bring people closer to you. You want to extend and expand your networking, right? With the right people, with your target audience, with people who have your target audience. And employee engagement and retention, which we go into. This is one of the things that is my part of my 20%. 80% of what I teach, you've already heard before somewhere else. It's just properly sequenced. And I innovated a way because I was an employee. I got tired of watching, the owners always, like, oh, you got to work harder so I can have a better car. That's a bullshit way. It doesn't work. at least long term. That's part of 95% thinking. 5% is a way that everybody that comes to work with you can utilize your asset for them to be able to achieve their own outcomes and their goals. Question number one is, what are your outcomes and goals? When was the last time you ever asked your employees or people that you work that question? Okay, it's called WIFMs. We have an entire 2 or 3 segments set up for that in the growth course. So why do we need to know this? Why do we need to know and understand that I am not a special flower, but I do need to build a unique business? What's the outcome, right? And I just went through and I did a little Googling, okay? And I started to ask the question, what are the oldest companies in the world, right? Oldest companies. Because remember, if 95% fail, that 5% that makes it beyond 10 years can make it 100 years, can make it 500 years, can make it 600 years because of the things that I'm going to tell you in the book, and I'm going to tell you on the next few episodes of why why when you hit these benchmarks, it can go on and stand the test of time for a very, very long time. Okay. One of them is Kongo Gumi. It's Kongo Gumi Company Limited out of Japan. It was founded, get this, 578 AD. It's been family owned for over 1,400 years. Now it was just acquired, right? They had an exit. It was just acquired back in 2006 by Takamatsu Construction Group in 2006. Okay, it was a construction company. Think about this. Those of you that are in construction, we have a lot of construction companies that come to us at Anton J for help. And it was a construction company specializing in building temples, shrines, and castles. Family owned for 1,400 years, and it became a subsidiary of Takamatsu Construction. Now, do you think they had special flower? Let's go back through that list again up here. Let's see. Do you think in 1,400 years they had problems with access to capital, cash flow management, competition, regulatory compliance, market access, talent acquisition and retention, technological adoption, supply chain vulnerabilities, customer acquisition and retention, and adapting to change? Do you think in 1,400 years they had to solve some of those problems? Yes or no? The answer is a hell yes, they did. We don't think long enough. We don't think a long enough term. We have been, look, in terms of marketing, in terms of people selling to us, they look at you and they look at me like we are mice, like we are test tube animals. We are treated like test tube animals, from our politicians to the people marketing to us. And sometimes we comply. We comply. We just put our mouth up to that little water thing and go, okay? Oh, give me that little hit. 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 Because we're not in control of ourselves, right? We are looked at like we are test tube mice that cannot focus or think beyond 15 seconds. Tell me if that's not true for you. Right? When you're looking at all of the things, when you're doing all of the stuff, when you're going through social media and you're doing that stuff, do you not feel like you're going to forever now, after you've heard my voice, you're going to feel like a test tube mice? And every time you think that, you go, you know what? Screw that. I want to be a freaking free beast. I want to be a free beast, a free thinking beast, one that creates my own. I want to actually adopt this concept from Jason that says, me owning a business is an act of rebellion. I'm going to take my mouth off the teat, right? That's the nice way to say it. I'm going to take my mouth off the teat of social media. I'm going to take my mouth off the teat of politics. I'm going to take my mouth off the teat of anything that is distracting me from creating my outcome, my freedom economically. Because I'm telling you right now, people, that you don't understand that you have the least amount of competition to be successful in human history, because people have been turned into test tube mice. You live in the lowest amount of competition that you have ever had. You have people around you. 95% of people are going out of business. All of the people that are around you are distracted, and they're using technology to push people away from them. They're not engaging in the actual principles of business, which are biblical, by the way, that if you engage in these things, you fall in love with the outcome of your customer, you deliver a higher level product, you're constantly tweaking, you have your systems in place, you have your assets being built, you are driving towards a $5 million EBITDA valuation, a $10 million a year business. You can be distracted from that, or you can let that be your target. You can let that be your true north, and everything that you learn, everything that you consume, how you eat, you turn your body into an athlete. You turn yourself into somebody who thinks and reads instead of watching the news or scrolling through social media mindlessly, being that test tube mouse. I don't want you to be treated like that. And I know you're not, or else you wouldn't be here. Okay? Let's look at some other companies. There's a company called Koman, Koman. Again, Japanese. It's a Japanese hotel established in 717 AD. It's known for its hot springs and traditional hospitality, reflecting Japan's long history of innkeeping and service culture. Since 717 AD, y'all. Let's see. I'm going to skip over here. How about this? This is actually pretty cool. Okay. Sean's Bar in Ireland, dating back to 900 AD. Sean's Bar is located in Athlone, Ireland, and is considered the oldest pub in Ireland and possibly the world. Archaeological records and carbon dating of the walls confirm its ancient origins. The pub has been a gathering place for locals and travelers alike for a millennium. We all live in towns. We all watch, bars and restaurants open and close, sometimes in the same month, right? We watch them open and close, open and close. What the hell is Sean's Bar doing still open since 900 AD? You tell me, did they have any of the problems or the challenges that we talked about earlier? Did they ever, I wonder if they ever had the question. I wonder if I've got problems with cash flow. I wonder if I've got problems with client or talent acquisition and such. Okay. How about some companies that thought they were special flowers and didn't adjust? Let's talk about a few of those. Pets.com. Pets.com. Right. And by the way, how many, just by a show of hands or comments in the audience right now, how many of you have heard of something called the Inc. 5000? Just throw up your hands, do a little hand thing or whatever. How many of you have heard of the Inc. 500? I want to read to you, by the way, the requirements to be on the Inc. 500. Listen to this sales pitch. Okay. What does it take to be a part of the Inc. 500 list? You, and this is the sales pitch, by the way. I'm just going to read directly off of it. Great post, by the way. On this, I got this off of LinkedIn, and it's Jenna Apgar on LinkedIn. Phenomenal person, doing great things, and she's a marketing strategist helping owners and sales professionals double and triple their leads while streamlining to save time and money. But this is what she posted. I know that it was, from other content, but here's what it is. Listen to the sales pitch. Why be on the Inc. 500 or 5,000 list? Appearing on the Inc. 5,000 is the highest honor a growing private business can receive. Launch your company into greater success with nationwide recognition as well as coverage from Inc., the essential resource for starting, running, and growing a business. You, this just gets better and better. You are America's entrepreneurial benchmark. For almost 40 years, through the good times and the challenging times, entrepreneurs remain the key influence of the economy. She's not wrong on that one, okay, of entrepreneurial success. For many, finding success in adversity is the fuel to keep going, reaching and lifting us all higher. That is your personality. This is where we get sold, right? This is like when we fail. The reason why there is bankruptcy protection in this country is because they know that people like us are going to fail and try again because we're 60% of the GDP and we are too nonsensical to just quit. We lick our wounds. We go out and find somebody else to give us money to play a game that we have 95% chance of losing it. Okay. So now more than ever, you need to be 5,000 strong. Show the world what you know, because your hard work and dedication were more resilient than ever. Inc. 5000 list is your first major milestone as an entrepreneur. Nope, absolutely not. Okay. You didn't just make it on a personal level. You made it on a national level and likely required a team to help you pull that high. Okay. You created jobs. You turned the economic engine. All true. You rock. Okay. National, I mean, this is supposed to be a list of things that it takes to be on the Inc. 5000. Okay. You get national and global recognition. You get, this is still the sales pitch. We haven't even gotten to the qualifications yet. Brand appeal, greater productivity, sales advantages, invaluable networking opportunities, and knowledge. Now, I want to pause here and say nothing against Inc., nothing against this group of people. I love anybody that puts energy and effort into SMEs to help them be more successful. But here's where we go off the rails a little bit, okay? So you have to grow. These are the fastest growing companies, and you have to have at least been in business for 2 years. Here's what happens on the other side, okay? You got to be independent, based in the US, have at least 10 permanent employees. All of these things are great. Have been in business for 2 years and have annual revenue less than $1 billion. You have to have gone from 100,000 to at least 2 million. Okay. These are and again, goes back into national recognition, invaluable insights, visibility, greater productivity, blah, 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 blah. And here's where special flower sets in. Here's where these 3 questions. Okay. I'm going to give you the 3 questions because I'm going to wrap this up here in a few seconds. Okay. The 3 questions that are keeping you broke in your business. The 3 questions that are causing you pain, the three questions that are going to keep you part of the 95% that fail are these 3 questions. How can I make more money? Why can't I find and keep better help? And this is really more of a statement than it is a question, but shiny penny syndrome. These are the 3 things that keep up. Now, Jason, I thought you were here to help us make more money. Yep, I am. But the question in and of itself, now that you've listened to me, this show, all the other shows, you understand that how can I make more money is keeping you broke because you're asking a leading indicator, a question for a lagging indicator outcome. How can I make more money? All right. Like we talk about losing 10 pounds. You got to sleep more. You got to drink some water. You got to eat less and you got to exercise more, right? Those 4 are leading indicators to the outcome of losing 10 pounds. In order for you to make more money in your business, you have to build assets. You have to understand interconnectedness. You have to understand talent acquisition. You have to not only understand it, but you have to execute on it. You have to get results in all of these areas. And then, and only then, will you make, and forget the word make. That is also a mistake. Keep, not just make, keep more money. If you get your leading indicators correct, your lagging indicator will you will be able to keep more money, and to be able to have independent access to capital, and to be able to set yourself free economically to exit from obligated to optional, number 1, or total time control, or to sell your asset that you built. Okay. Those are the things. And here's the numbers. We said 95% of companies, right? 95% of companies, and there's a couple of articles, Fortune magazine, a couple of other places that you can verify what I'm about to say. 75% of these companies that are on the Inc. 500 or 5,000 are done within 12 to 24 months after being on the list. Done, out of business. So being the fastest growing, right? There's a saying, and a lot of people that have followed me for a long time have heard me say this. Most companies die of indigestion. They do not die of starvation. That means that they bring in more business than they can handle in operations to deliver on the promise that sales made. Okay. It is a incredible failure rate, right? And of that list, which is great, by the way. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from those companies that are on that list because you did something spectacular. You grew your business fast enough to be recognized nationally by a national, spectacular, top tier magazine. And you made a list that very few people will ever make. Inc. 5,000 out of 33 million. It's a phenomenal record. What I'm saying is the special flower is the thing that makes them go out of business. Not understanding that there are ways to approach all that. Okay, now we have this skyrocketing revenue. How then do we go into our operations and set up systems and processes that guarantee the outcome of why people were buying this at such a high record rate in the first place? Then underneath of it, what are those numbers telling us? Is those one-time buyers or are they five-time buyers? Is there referrals included, or is it 60% of our revenues going back out in advertising to make sure that we maintain that level of revenue? Right? These are finance tells you those answers. And then a culture that is going to make that last, like those companies that I was mentioning, that they've lasted since 900 AD. That's in large part to do with culture. Some of the companies here in the United States, let me just get to these and then I'm going to wrap this up. Zildjian Cymbal Company, founded in 1623 in what's now Istanbul. I would like to say Constantinople. I can never say it. There's a song that they sing about it, but it's now Istanbul. That's just much easier for me to say. 1623. And they're still going strong right here in the United States. One of the oldest companies, Hartford. It's the oldest continually published newspaper, right? It became, let's see. And then you got Baker's Chocolate, 1765. You've got Cigna, 1762 or 1792. I'm sorry. Jim Beam. That is, I don't know about you, but I mean, I was drinking Jim Beam maybe in high school, a little bit older, but that's been around since 1795. Whatever it is that you do, whatever it is that you offer, whatever it is that you sell, product and or service or a mixture of both or whatever it is, I want you to start thinking longer term. I want you to start thinking a decade from now. I want you to start thinking 2 decades from now. And I want you to start thinking in terms of building assets. If you don't know how to do that, reach out to us. We do this all day long. If you don't know how to build your company to be able to exit in one of the 3 ways that I described, you've got to reach out. Now is the time. Stop buying bullshit from other people. And if you don't have any money, find somebody in your neighborhood that's been around for 10 years or longer. Take them to lunch. Take them to coffee. That's what I did. I begged while I was on the road with Tony Robbins as one of his speakers. I begged. I would offer to take people out. I would say, I'll come over and cook you dinner. I'll come over and take your trash out. I'll come clean your toilets. All I need is 15 minutes of your time so that I can go through my notebook of failures to where I failed in 3 companies back to back. I need to know what to do instead of that. Now, the failures, because I notated them, have been incredibly valuable to myself and to my clients over time. But then I also have the second set of notebooks that has in it, here's what you exactly do. And a ton of that is in growthcourse.com/freedom so you can get the discount for watching this show. Okay? So think about this. How can I make more money is the wrong question. How can I build a machine that creates cash that I can put in my pocket and put towards my freedom fund? Why can't I keep BetterHelp? Wrong question. How can I build a machine that people that come to work with me can reach their outcomes with that position? Better question. We teach about that WIFMs and again in the growth course. Shiny penny syndrome. Focus on being part of the 5%, on growing your EBITDA to $5 million and getting your company to a place where it's producing $10 million a year. When you get to that place, I can promise you magic happens. Magic happens. You have something that you can sell. You have something that will put money in your pocket. There's all kinds of things that happen when you reach those 3 outcomes. 5, 5, 10. 5, 5, 10. Every show I do is dedicated to giving you yet another piece of the puzzle towards being part of the 5%. Every breath I take, every thought I have when I'm doing preparation of this show is for you to be part of the 5%, because I need you to be part of the 5%. I need you to be a part of this journey. I need you to do it for yourself, for your family, for your community, for this country, which ultimately helps me, my family, my kids to be able to remain free, so that we don't become servants, so that we don't become indentured servants, so we don't become slaves to a multinational company that doesn't have our best interests in mind, that looks at us like we're numbers, we have to beg and ask for time off to be with our family. We have to beg and ask for time off if we're sick. I don't want to live that life, and I know you don't want to, because what you do day in and day out is a blatant act of rebellion against a system that wants to control you, a system that wants you to be poor, that wants you to not have enough money in your pocket. That is what the system is. It's always been like that throughout history. We have this eye blink of time here in the United States where we have independent access to capital with a relatively free and fair marketplace. It's going away, and I know it's being challenged, but you're the antidote. You're the antidote. You listening to this, you modifying your behaviors, you looking for that 5510 number in your own business. You are the antidote. We together collectively do 60% of the GDP. That's not nothing. 60% GDP of the largest company or country in the world. 60% of the GDP with a country that does an incredible, immense good throughout the world. Yeah, we got our problems, but I'm not here to talk about those. You can watch any television show, any newscaster, go on social media, listen to everybody bitch and moan about being inside of the greatest car, wondering why it won't go a mile faster. I'm not that guy. You're not those people. We're here to say, how can we save and improve the machine that we were blessed to be born into, or been able to come from another country and come here? Our legal immigrants are some of the most powerful people for me to talk to be reminded of how great this country is, about how unique, how special, how rare in history coming to the United States of America is still to this day. Our legal immigrants I learn more from. I get more passion. I get more appreciation. I get them shaking their heads at how we take that for granted in our own country. I get that more from them than I do from people that live here. So anyway, all right. Well, that's it for this segment. If you're having any of those special flower syndromes, go back through the list and understand if one of those things that's on the list is on your list of why you're having challenges. There is a solution to it, because everybody's got it, and just you want to find the 5% that have been able to solve it long term. That's what this show was about. Thank you again. I have to say it. Go to builttoexit.biz to put in your email address. If you're not there, you get my show notes. You become part of our community. You learn where I'm speaking. You learn anything that we're involved in, any of the stuff that I'm doing in my life. And our team is working on growthcourse.com/freedom. If you want to get the actual 20 plus hours of content to be able to do this for yourself, jasonsisneros.com. You can set an appointment. There's a little blue box in the bottom right-hand corner to be able to set an appointment with my team about anything that you've got going on in your business. It's free, and you can have any conversation that you want. And just remember, again, thank you all for those of you that are sharing the content, that are sharing the podcast. I am honored. I'm humbled by the fact that is happening more and more, and I appreciate you. It's the greatest thing that you can do. I come here, deliver as best as I know how every single Saturday, and you just sharing this or telling somebody about it and bringing somebody new with you on our to the live, which we're about ready to jump into, is the greatest gift that you can give me for the time that I put in here, and I appreciate you. All right, we're going to wrap it up. We'll see all of you on the podcast. We'll see you this same time next week. Come join us live. We have a great team of people that show up, great conversations. And until the next episode, I love you. Peace.